Thank you. What if trees and forests could miraculously spring forth from the earth in places where they've been cleared or replaced with other vegetation or even with bare ground? What if these new trees and forests could be managed and used by local people who have access and rights to them, enhancing their food security, livelihoods, and supporting local species of plants and animals? What if birds and mammals could take care of the difficult job of selecting and planting seeds and ensuring genetic diversity and conservation of local varieties and locally important species? And what if local people were the stewards of the process of natural regeneration, enriching young forest patches with trees and shrubs that provide timber, food, medicines, and firewood? Happily, this is not just a dream. It is a reality in some places and can provide a path for restoring landscapes in many places around the world. Natural systems have an innate drive and a potential to restore themselves and to regenerate. It is their main business. Regeneration is what they evolved to do. Here in northwestern Costa Rica, large areas of tropical dry forest have grown back spontaneously over the last 25 years. We can harness this potential, and we can provide assistance to nurture trees and enrich regenerating forests. This is a partnership. People nurture nature, and nature in turn nurtures us. We move forward together in a feed-forward positive cycle. We can enrich and enhance natural systems for our benefit while sustaining them for future generations and creating a living legacy. We don't have to plant trees everywhere to restore forests, woodlands, or landscape functions. So what would a partnership with nature look like as a foundation for landscape restoration? It could look like this. Here we're at the Serra do Mar in the Atlantic forest of Brazil, where a native threatened species, Euterpe edulis, a palm, is heavily exploited for palm heart throughout this region, but produces seeds, the pulp of which is used to extract a juice that tastes and has a texture very much like acai, if anyone of you have ever had acai, but it's even more nutritious. And the frozen pulp is sold across a wide local region. We also have the species is grown in managed secondary forests, where together, along with bananas, pehibaye, palm hearts, and other fruits, native fruit species, which are sold commercially, along with manioc root and other products. This management also enhances cultural values for several different ethnic groups and promotes diversity of over 200 species that are used by local people. It could also look like this in a much drier region here in the Sahel. Here we have several species which perform very important functions and which are coaxed out of the ground from rootstocks through farmer-managed natural regeneration. Faidherbia albida is a nitrogen-fixing legume and stimulates increases in crop yields in the areas around the trees. Combretum glutinosum produces high-quality firewood and also modulates soil temperature beneath the crowns, creating better conditions for crops. This practice is spreading virally throughout the Sahel and other regions of Africa. And amazingly, the cost of farmer-managed natural regeneration is less than $20 per hectare. Or it could look like this. Here we are in Zambia, in Luanshya, in the Copperbelt province, where assisted natural regeneration is being used to restore landscapes. These forests here pictured are 5 to 10 years old and have been treated in a variety of ways for approximately 3 years. These are typical Miombo forest tree species. The farmers that have restoration sites on their farms have beehives for honey production, and generally they harvest edible mushrooms in the rainy season. And in later stages, sustainable wood harvesting is planned. These are all examples of co-production, where most ecosystem services are actually co-produced by a mixture of natural capital and various forms of social, human, financial, and technological capital. The natural capital can also exist in a hidden form in the landscape, which we call ecological memory. Ecological memory is represented by seeds, remnant trees, hedgerows, living fences, and rootstocks. It can be quantified and mapped, along with other social and biophysical factors, to predict the local potential for natural regeneration, which can be used in planning at the local and regional level. Where there's more ecological memory, indigenous trees and forests can be more easily brought to life. And where there is no ecological memory or very little, restoration requires costly and often risky tree planting. Bringing trees and forests back to life enriches the lives of people in many ways, culturally, socially, and economically. It can also bring some challenging trade-offs, as when native fauna return and can destroy crops. You may have heard of the local food movement. People are interested in eating food that is produced locally rather than from long distances. Let's create a local forest movement and empower the growth of managed and assisted regeneration of trees and forests in our own landscapes. Let's bring to life the latent memories that are lurking around us, often hidden and ignored. They're waiting for us. Let's convert these memories to realities and keep them in our present and pass them on to future generations. They are nothing less than the future of life on Earth. Thank you.